Alrighty, it's Friday, so you know what that means. It's time for the Facebook Friday Q&A here on OTRS Central. Thanks to all of you that went to the OCRS Central Facebook page and posted your questions. Let's see how many of them I can get through starting now. Moises Enrique asked, if Al Bundy was a wrestler, what would his finisher be? Awesome, I'm sure. It could be maybe like the foot fungus flop. Could be the torture pit. Could be the brown streak. I don't know what it would be. Maybe it would be the Dodge Dart. I don't know. It would be fucking awesome no matter what. I can assure you of that. Maybe it would be the No Ma'am. Who knows? Wouldn't matter. It would be awesome because everything Al Bundy did was awesome. Nathan Weaver, if Hulk Hogan ran for president in 2016 with God as his vice president, do you think they would be able to succeed? Both have incredible name recognition, especially Hulk Hogan, both domestically and internationally. Hulk Hogan could run on the Republican ticket because he is a rich white male in his 60s. And then you would have the rich white male in his 40s running as vice president. That seems to be right in the GOP wheelhouse, that's for sure. Let's see here. They wouldn't put anybody else over. There would be no special interest because they would be protecting their own interest, and that is strictly it. They could talk. They have charisma. I think they'd be incredibly successful. Just imagine the debates. Imagine Triple H in the VP debates. Well, what you need to understand is that this guy is another jabroni. And what you need to realize is that we are the game. And we have a plan in place. And we are going to take over the world. And then could you imagine Hogan running up against somebody else, like let's say a Hillary? Well, the first thing you need to realize there, vicious Hillary. Yeah, you just all types of awesome. Jeremy Adams, what do you think about the controversy about the movie The Interview? Pussification of America, I guess. It's the company's own fault for not better protecting themselves against something like that. In terms of the hack, I think it's pussy to pull it, from theaters. I think that's kind of a pussy thing to do. I think it's also kind of stupid that you see people trying to use this as an American rallying cry for freedom of expression and all this other crap. Oh, Christ almighty. I would hope that if you were going to do this type of movie, you would have thought maybe this is something that could have potentially happened. Therefore, as a result, maybe go in a slightly different direction where you pattern somebody after Kim Jong-un, but it's not actually Kim Jong-un. And maybe make it a little more satire than just kind of like bro comedy. But, what else are they going to expect about Franco and Rogan? I wasn't going to watch it anyway, so I'm not missing anything as far as I'm concerned. Jonathan Schilla, what happens first? Cubs winning a World Series or Bears winning the Super Bowl? Well, based off the trajectories of the organizations, Cubs heading this way, Bears heading that way, the Cubs are a hell of a lot closer than the Bears are. That's for damn sure. Wendell Ball, do you think WWE's cooled off Bray Wyatt, Ambrose, Cesaro, and others so they don't overshadow Reigns or Rollins? I guess if you want to look at it that way, especially with Wyatt and Ambrose overshadowing Reigns, you might, but I don't think that's necessarily the right thought process. Cesaro was cooled off because Vince doesn't get it, doesn't see it, doesn't like him. That's why he was cooled off, period. It has nothing to do with Reigns or anybody else other than Vince and Cesaro. As far as Wyatt and Ambrose, I think it's part of not having a plan for them and not knowing where you want to go with them and what direction you have in mind for them, more so than it is the risk of overshadowing them. And I think that's where they've kind of cooled off on him a little bit. Also with Bray Wyatt, he also had to go through the John Cena problem, so that didn't help. Aaron Zach, did you see the Legends House clip where Patterson hit on the deli guy? And what would you do if you were the deli guy? Clench my whole ring shut as much as I could, and I did not see it because I didn't watch any Legends House, nor do I intend to. Stephen Bradley, why do you always bury the YWC? Because the YWC deserves it. Videos that are too long, too boring, with people that lack the ability to entertain or be charismatic, or in a lot of ways even put together a tangible, credible, understandable, logical thought. That's why. A lot of predictability in terms of the philosophies and the thoughts. And, I kind of fall into that loop, too. At times I bury myself, too. So let's keep that in mind, Stephen Bradley. But the YWC deserves to be buried because of the different stupid things talked about before, and I won't get into again. Scotty Adams, if you were to turn the New Day heel, how would you do it? I wouldn't. I'd just make him serious. Have him talk about realistic things, and people would gravitate to that. They would understand that. They would latch onto that. George Jones, would you rather have China dildo your ass or have Orton rub you down with oil? Well, you know, technically, Orton giving you a massage would not fit into the gay category. So you would have to go with that as opposed to China sticking a dildo up your ass. Now, if I answered this like Chase Oliver, it would go something like this. Well, you know, George Jones, that with a Randall Keith Orton, he is a baby oil connoisseur and a professional. And as long as there isn't significant movement in your short pant region when you are receiving said baby oil rub down from Randall Keith Orton, it would not be classified as homosexual in any way, shape, or form. So I think it would be a tremendous honor and privilege. We could talk about Johnson & Johnson. We could talk about sleeve tattoos and construction worker beards, and we could talk about evolution, and we could talk about legacy, and we could talk about the legend killer times. It would just be a great time all around. I think that's the way to go. And there you go. Christian Guillen, which Elimination Chamber match besides the first one is your favorite? I don't... It escapes me now. I mean, I still always gravitate to that Survivor Series 2002 one anyways. That's always like my gold standard in terms of Elimination Chamber matches. Chris Wasson, would Al Bundy, the character, make a better quarterback than Jay Cutler even though he was an all-city fullback? Let me ask you this. Which one of them scored 4 touchdowns in a single game for Polk High? It wasn't Jay Cutler. It was Al fucking Bundy. There's a man's man. A leader. Tough as nails. So many things that Cutler isn't. Give me Al Bundy. David Asseline, do you think the Sydney terrorist attack was just a lone crazy guy, or is the religion of Islam a threat to the Western world? Oh, Christ almighty, please. The biggest single threat to the Western world is the Western world and our philosophies and our approaches and our overbearing, domineering presence throughout the world and our artificial belief that we are superior to the rest of the world. That is the biggest threat to the Western world, is the Western world itself. And when we talk about religions, if we're being completely and totally honest here, and even when this pisses people off, I don't give a fuck because it's the truth. If any religion is a threat to the Western world, it is Christianity and the prostitution and bastardization of Christ's name and his teachings in the support of this bullshit cause or that bullshit cause. It's Christianity that would be, and more specifically, the bastardization of it and how it is utilized and prostituted out there. In a flawed manner and in a not right manner, that is a bigger threat. There's a big difference between following Christ's teachings and being a follower of Christianity. Huge difference, huge distinction. And it's a shame to see what happens, you know, like you see so many people, let's say in American sense, on the far right in terms of the political spectrum, that use religion from their pulpit as a major talking point, as a way to be divisive. They use it in a terrible, horrible way, all the while forgetting that Jesus taught to love everyone, that Jesus taught against people being wealthy, despised wealth, thought wealth was a sin, wealth was evil, and that you should give back to your fellow man, and that was a true measurement of who you were and your righteousness to be able to move on to the kingdom of God forever, whatever. They want to make this a huge religious thing, but, you know, is it a lone crazy guy? Maybe. You know, is Islam some great threat to the Western world? No. If it was, we'd have found out by now. There's 1+ billion people that are Islamic. It's like there are Christian. So, I mean, let's not... I just hate how that it was turned, especially in the post 9/11 environment, into a war on Islam, and that's exactly what it was. It wasn't a war on terror; it was a war on Islam, and that's a shame. Chris Wasson, do you think Stephanie enjoyed banging Macho Man, Test, or Triple H more? Macho Man, because he made her step into the danger zone at a very early age. And there's only one man that can say, "Ooh yeah, dig it." I think it's got to be Macho Man. Glenn Allen, at this point, what is stopping you from giving up watching wrestling altogether, considering how awful it is now? Habit, the fact that every once in a while I get redeeming qualities, I do this show, a lot of different things. Chris Wasson, what would be the worst punishment for you out of the 3? Watching obese porn, Jeff Jarrett's Best Of DVD, or taking a shower with Pat Patterson watching? It'd have to be Jeff Jarrett's Best Of DVD, because even if I'm taking a shower and Pat Patterson is watching, that doesn't involve him touching me or doing anything to me. He would just be watching, and I could pretend that it was somebody else, like a lady. Close my eyes and clench my cheeks. And watching obese porn, fat girls need loving too. It's got to be Jeff Jarrett's best of DVD. Terrence Young, when Sid came back a few years ago to fight Heath Slater, would you have marked out if he broke his leg in that match? No, because it's not the right timing. It's not the right place. It doesn't have the right story to it. There's only one time and one place, and that's in 2001 where that was perfect. And fuck all the people that didn't react for him when Psycho Sid came back. It wasn't goddamn John Cena. It wasn't Randy Orton. This is fucking Psycho Sid. This man broke his leg for you. He shit himself for you. He gave his body, his bowels to entertain you. His mind to entertain you. Should have fucking recognized him. It's a shame. Guy Gorlink, what are your thoughts on the Ascension becoming Demolition 2.0? Fine with it. Have no problems with it. Kennedy Ramirez, do you watch hockey? Occasionally. Stephen Badessa, why so many wrestlers became druggies? The fact they were on the road so much, the culture and the environment of the time, it's not that hard to envision why they would. It's understandable. David Herbst, if you could change the result of any Royal Rumble match, which one would it be? First one that comes to mind is 2011 ADR. Might as well have had Santino win and see what happens. Austin Rollins, is John Cena the WWE's equivalent to Michael Jordan? My answer to you is this. Don't ever ask that question again. Come on, Austin Rollins. Really? Hogan would be. Or if you're a younger fan, maybe you would consider Austin or The Rock to be, and that's fine. We can have that debate or argument, but John fucking Cena? Get the fuck out of here. Daniel Carlton, do you think Smokey would have been the one to give Mark Henry his inevitable Hall of Fame induction and speech? Could you imagine how awesome that would have been? Oh, fuck. He'd have had all the divas hitting on him. He'd have sat there and been eating a cheeseburger while he's inducting Mark Henry. It would fucking been awesome. Adam Fowling, what are your thoughts on the end of the Colbert Report? I always liked the Colbert Report, so I'm sad to see it go, and I'm not sure how well he's going to work. Doing the Late Show, we'll see. American Alucard Scott, what gimmick do you think Vince will give Adrian Neville? He's going to say, we've had a bunny. We've had this. We've had that. We've had a red rooster. You know what we haven't had? We haven't had a ferret. That's what I think. Taryn Rooks, being as though John Cena is the only person that can revive the Authority, do you think that would ultimately be what finally turns him heel? CT General, where's The Rock ranked on your all-time favorites list? Top 5. Nick Anderson, do you think Marcus Mariota could be a franchise quarterback? I think he could, but it'll be dependent on the situation and the coach that he works with. Mario, the King of Hearts, Alcime, who is the worst authority figure of all time? John Laurinaitis, Mike Adamle, Teddy Long, or Vicky Guerrero? Mike Adamle. Mo Riggins, do you think that you would make a good manager? Yes, I do. Zinnia Berry, in order, what has seen more action? Stephanie's ass, Dino Bravo's head, and the Spanish announce table. Announce table 1, Stephanie's ass 2, Dino Bravo's head 3. Thoughts on the college football playoff this season coming from Claude Thompson? Of course it only has 4 teams when they need to have 6 or 8. Of course, the NCAA kind of comes up with the solution, but they kind of half-ass it. What else would I expect, frankly? I mean, that's just the truth of the matter. Let's see here. What else do we have? Anthony Miller, do you think WWE should revamp the whole announce team? If they do, who would you bring in to replace them? I don't know who I'd bring in to replace them, but I think the whole team needs to be revamped. It'd take me a little time to consider. Salman Khalid, favorite fast food restaurant? This is kind of an odd question. Favorite fast food restaurant? Maybe a Little Caesars because I can get a full pizza for $5. Yeah. Let's see here. Do I have any other questions that I could answer at this point in time? Doesn't look like it. All right, so here's what I'll say. You guys, thanks so much for submitting your questions on the page. Make sure that you continue to give me your questions. I'll be back Monday with another Q&A. I have other content coming up all weekend long here on OTR Essential that you won't want to miss. Even if you do, check it out. You'll like it, maybe. So check that out. I'll be back Monday with another Q&A. See you later.